Alright, so something we have been working in class a lot on is how to change something that's in the form of a product into the form of a sum. And we've been doing this using a rectangle strategy. It's called the generic rectangle. But for some of these problems, for instance, if I told you I had 4 times quantity 2x minus 3, they're not super complicated. Here we are multiplying 4 times this parenthesis. So there is a little times symbol here. We don't usually write it. We just put the 4 right next to the parenthesis. But we do have a multiplication problem, a product problem, and the sum is going to be found using what we call the distributive property. We're going to take the 4 and multiply it in with both of these pieces. So we're going to have, I'll write it down below here, 4 times 2x, and we're going to have 4 times 3. And because it was a subtraction problem, we copy the subtraction problem, which means 4 times 2 is 8x. 4 times 3 is 12, so our sum is 8x minus 12. And that's just something we've been doing in class a lot of. That's the distributive property. We have talked a lot about it. But this video is not really focused on just practicing the distributive property anymore. It has to do with solving equations that have the distributive property kind of buried in them. So we're going to be solving for x, but using this property. So let's try some. We're just going to do them. Example 1. Let's say you're asked to solve for x. So I'm going to write solve for x. And you go to solve for x and you get this problem. We'll start out kind of simple. 3 parenthesis x minus 2 is equal to 9. Alright, well, I'm solving for x. I'm going to put a little line down the middle of the equal sign here. I want to get all the way down through all my work and get like x equals in an answer. The very first thing that I see is some distributive property. I see a product that I need to turn into a sum. So I'm going to start by multiplying the 3 in as my very first step. Do 3 times x. Well, 3 times x is 3x. 3 times 2 is 6. And because it was a subtraction problem, I copy that subtraction problem down. Now I have 3x minus 6 equals 9. And it's no longer a hard problem for me to solve. I'm going to do the steps that I know. I'm going to add the 6 over. So 3x equals 9 plus 6, that's 15. I'm going to take the 3x's and divide them into 3 groups. Divide by 3 on both sides. X is going to equal 15 divided by 3, which is 5. Done. So really the only new thing is this very first step. Noticing that there's a parenthesis, that there's a distributive property kind of buried inside the problem, and we got to go through and solve it. So let's try another one for the video. Try a couple of these. Same directions. So next example, we are still going to solve for x. Solve for x. And this time let's just do it with a different problem. So this time we're going to have negative 2x plus 4 equals 3 parenthesis 5 minus x. 3 parenthesis 5 minus x. Solve for x. Again, line down the middle of the equal sign. I want to get an answer down at the bottom for x. So I'm going to start by identifying the fact that, oh, there's a parenthesis, there's the 3 that's being multiplied. Let's distributive property. Let's get rid of that parenthesis right from the start. Get it out of our way. So I'm going to have 3 times 5 is 15. 3 times x is 3x. And again, it was a subtraction problem, so I copy the subtraction sign down. I'm not doing anything over here on the left side. Absolutely nothing. So I just copy it down again, negative 2x plus 4. Notice I'm being pretty careful about going down, showing my step, going down, showing my step, kind of stacking up my work vertically so that anybody could follow what I'm doing. From here, it's not too bad. I'm going to maybe flip the negative 3x over, make it a positive 3x. Let's move that. Negative 2 plus 3, that's 1x plus the 4 that's still there. And then on the other side, I still have 15 equals 15. And then I'm going to take the plus 4, move it over, make it a minus 4. 15 minus 4 is 11. And I have 1x equals 11. And 1x, I could write it like that, but really that's just an x. X is equal to 11. That's my answer. X equals 11. Okay, so now you try one. Let's make up another one down here. This time, let's change our directions just for the heck of it. Let's say solve for y. And this time, you get 4 minus 2, parentheses, y plus 1, equals 10. If you feel like going for it, pause the video and try this because it'd be nice to see if you can do it by yourself. I'm going to go through these steps. I'm going to put a line down the middle. First thing I see is this parenthesis, and I definitely see I need to do some distributive property. But this one's a little extra tricky. I'm going to have this 2 times the parenthesis, but it's a minus 2. It's more than just a 2. It's a minus 2. So I'm going to be multiplying by negative 2 inside my parenthesis. I'm going to be doing negative 2 times y. I'm pretty much ignoring the 4. That 4, I know it's there. I'm going to cover it up. Negative 2 times y is negative 2y. Negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. And it's a plus problem, so I'll put a plus sign right there. Now, yeah, there is a 4 that's still there. And I'll copy it and put it in front, but I pretty much ignored it. The most common mistake students make is at the very first step, they do 4 minus 2 is 2. They subtract the numbers right away because they see 4 subtract 2. Don't do that. Cover up the 4 and do your distributive property first. Be careful. Don't fall for that trick. And it's all equal to 10 on the other side. Now, if you got to this step, everything's a-okay. I'm going to add this 2 over, make it 4, subtract 2y equals, let's see, that's moved, 10 plus 2 is 12. Flip this 4 over, make it a negative 4. It's still a minus 2y, so minus negative 2y equals 12 minus 4. 12 minus 4 is 8. So now I'm going to divide not just by 2, but by a negative 2 on both sides. And I get y equals 8 divided by 2 is 4. And a positive divided by a negative is a negative. Y is equal to negative 4. There's my answer. Now if you're, let's say you're doing this on a test and you want to see if you got it right, you want to advance your work a little bit, you can easily show how to check your answer. Let's check answer. What a good way to show that you're really proficient in something, being able to check your answer. So to check your answer, you're going to copy the problem. 4 subtract 2 times y plus 1 equals 10. The original problem that we started with way up top here. So copy that down. Now we already think the answer is negative 4, so right here where the y is, we're going to replace that with a negative 4, because that's what we think the answer is. So now we're going to have 4 subtract 2 parentheses, and instead of y plus 1, it's negative 4 plus 1 equals 10. And we just got to see if this math works. So 4 subtract 2 parentheses, negative 4 plus 1 is negative 3 equals 10. And if I ignore the 4 here for a second, negative 2 times a negative 3 is a positive 6. So I have, copy the 4, 4 plus 6 equals 10. And 4 plus 6, yep, that's 10. 10 equals 10, check. Now I have very, very advanced work here. Not only did I solve my equation and get my answer, but I went ahead and checked my answer and showed that it was valid. So the answer is y equals negative 4, and here's my proof that it actually works.